Hello, good morning, and welcome to today's episode of Vaginaya.com, where we bring you exciting topics that revolve around life during and after service, career growth, and as well as every other opportunities that comes with the NYC experience. I am Ronke and Emmanuel, and today we'll be discussing a very exciting topic that has to do with Nigeria's economy and how it has had effects on everyone, including the youth and of course all members. In the recent crime report shows that one of the countries that has the highest level of fraud, specifically cybercrime and ritual killings, has Nigeria as the focal point, which is the reason why we'll be talking about this topic, surviving in today's economy. Best possible ways to survive in today's economy without indulging in fraud or ritual killings. I have with me in the house a fellow core member like myself, in person of Mr. Emmanuel. Mr. Emmanuel, welcome to today's
Thank
episode
you
of
so
Vaginaya.com.
much.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So, like I said previously, we'll be talking about surviving in today's economy as a Nigerian, of course, specifically as a youth who is about to go into the labor market in a while. So, first of all, what would you say about Naira currency? What do you think, about Naira currency that has affected the lives of everyone, affected the lives of the citizens in this part of the world?
It's crazy how that the naira has so devalued. Now we're really it's not as it used to be before in times past, right?
Yes.
Before now they say a little sum of money could purchase larger values, but now it's not like that. So basically, as the day goes by, the naira keeps devaluing, keeps devaluing. So we just have to find a way to. We're Nigerians, we always adapt to things.
Yes,
right?
of course.
So as usual, find a way to adapt while we still hope for an increase in the value of the naira. But we need to find a way to survive,
Of course.
basically. So I think that's a major fight outside.
Okay, so Naira, in other words, Naira value has decreased drastically over the years, but we have to find a way to survive regardless. So, a recent crime report shows that the highest level of countries with the highest level of fraud, specifically cybercrime and ritual killings, is predominantly within the southern and western part of Africa, with Nigeria frequently identified as a focal point. When I saw that particular report, it was unbelievable at first, but when I thought deep about it, I saw how true
It's
that
actually
is.
correct. I have a survey that I did. I stand to be corrected anyways, but I said out of 10 Nigerian youths, male youths, you have let me say 7.
Okay.
7 are already into cybercrime. So one is thinking about going into cybercrime.
Wow.
And just the other 2 are good to go.
They're trying to stay grounded.
So 7 out of 10, you can imagine. They are into it full time, they are into it part time, they are into it one way or another. And it's just crazy how, because sometimes you look back and you wonder, how did we get there?
Oh, exactly.
It's really crazy.
It's a sad reality of many youths, especially within the ages of 17 to, let me say, 45 or 50. You wonder why, teenagers engaging in fraudulent practices and the ritual killings. There have been cases of ritual killings in states like Ogun State, your state. It happens in the East too, but I do not know much about that.
It's even lesser now. I mean, at some point, say some 3-4 years back, it was more predominant in the southern part of
ritual
Nigeria.
killings, right?
Where it was really, really crazy to understand where the guys got to use girls.
There is always a lifeless body.
Do you understand?
Beside the streets, and you wonder why. So, I have this question that I believe that everyone should be able to answer. The question is, what do you think must have made these people to get involved in all of these things? Fraud is not something casual. It's not something minimal. Fraud is a punishable offense.
Actually.
And ritual killing as well, something that it needs you to lose your sense of humanity to be able to pull that through. So it makes me wonder that I can't phantom how they were able to pull it through. I don't know whether you can.
Well, the most important thing when you started, you said, or we established that the naira has the value such
Yes,
that
yes,
everyone is trying to
exactly.
survive. So the major reason I see is survival. Everybody's just trying to survive.
Survival.
Do you understand?
Survival.
Irrespective of the cost, we just want to survive. People just want to survive. So that's the reason why we have prostitution on the high side. We have fraud on the high side.
Yes.
Everybody just wants to survive. You'll be amazed at people's backgrounds.
Yes.
They have come from suffering. They do not want suffering to come
Exactly.
through them or
Everyone
from
is trying
them.
to be better.
So everybody just wants a better life, and to that effect, I'm never trying to sound cliche, but it still falls back on the government. I mean, whenever we hear topics like this, the bulk part goes to the government. Oh, the government is not doing this, the government is not doing that. As individuals, like that. So everybody's just trying to survive. Man. What's the easiest? It's not even like what's the easiest way, because fraud is not actually easy if you check it out.
It's not. It requires intellect.
It takes a very high level of intellect.
Yeah.
To understand, to be able to convince someone, to be able to swindle
This is a
someone.
lot of emotional intelligence.
Yeah. So it's not even easy. So gone are the days when they say, "Oh, you're looking for quick money, do fraud." Fraud now is not even quick money.
No, it's not.
Do you understand? So all of that. So basically, what am I trying to say? People are just trying to survive. Everybody's just trying to find a way out. Everybody wants a better life for themselves, and this is the major reason why most Nigerian youth would go into fraud, even as the fact that there are no jobs, there are no opportunities from the government. The people who are there, like I said earlier, they're not trying to leave the system.
Yes,
they're just
everyone
there.
is backdating.
What do you want? Every year we have thousands and thousands of graduates being released. Where do we fit these people to? Do you get?
Yes.
Then there's the advent of social media as well. I said something. Social media is a blessing and a curse.
It is.
Do you understand? Depending on what you want it to be to you. Now, young persons go on social media and they see the glitz and glamour of the life
celebrities
of
and rich wealthy.
You just want to hit that life. Oh, these guys are traveling. These guys are
not know the
buying expensive cars. These guys are. But do you understand? So young persons just feel, I want to live this life as well. So that's.
Okay, so in the part where you talked about government playing a significant role in the level of unemployment amongst youth, in the level of unemployment and of course fraud, prostitution and ritual killing, I agree with you, but not to a reasonable extent.
Okay.
The reason is because we've seen even people from wealthy backgrounds, people that have families that are rich enough to set up a business for them. They get online, maybe they have an online business. They get online and the kind of fraud they engage in is quite different. It's also fraud. It's also a fraudulent practice when someone buys something from you and you give them something that is lesser than the value of the money that they are giving. That's the type of fraud. And this is something that is very rampant in the business industry, especially online businesses, online, what would I call it, businesses. I don't think government has anything to do with it. I just think that we're in a part of the world where we have become so demoralized that we do not take integrity as a virtue.
Actually, it's no longer.
We don't take it seriously. We blame everything on the government. We blame everything on the government. Okay, recently, let's go down to the drivers in public transport. Let's go down to pure water sellers on the street, drink sellers on the street. The way all of a sudden there'll be just a little inflation, and
the price hikes.
It doesn't just hike by the inflation that stepped upon the real price, but then they added their own personal price for selfish gains, and we're only making our lives, we're making each other's life more difficult than it already is. So we don't get to blame government on this thing. We should also take responsibilities as well.
I agree with you on that. Let me just give a very quick story. You remember when we had the rise in fuel?
Yeah, exactly.
It just came up that day, and by evening or something, prices had gone up.
Yes.
I just got this thing a couple of hours ago, and you're telling me it's fuel.
It was such a shock. The following morning, I was going to my PPA, and somewhere that was supposed to be 200 jumped into 300. I was like,
welcome to
now many hours.
Nigeria, the only place where prices go up and never
comes down.
Once
never
it goes up,
comes down. Okay, so thank you very much for that contribution of yours. What mindset shifts do you think are needed for us to do away with the get rich quick mindset? As youths, everyone wants to get get rich quick. Everyone wants to be better quick. Even when I searched about business, and they said that the period of time in which a business is supposed to be is within 5 to 7 years.
Nobody is that patient.
But a youth wants to get rich within 2 years. In fact, within
Yes,
a
it's
year,
a long time.
within 5 months. And it makes me wonder if you check all of the wealthiest people,
Yeah.
let's not say in the world, let's say in Nigeria, the likes of Dangote and Nico Dangote, Tony Lumelu and the likes. These are people that built their wealth over time. It didn't happen all of a sudden. Fine, most of them came from a wealthy background, but you tell that it's growth regardless.
Actually.
So, what do you think? How do you think we can have a mind shift from getting rich quick mindset?
Well, you already started answering the question.
Okay.
One of the things is to know or have it at the back of your mind that real wealth, real wealth is not a one-time thing. It doesn't just happen, bam. No. It's something that is built time over time. Do you understand? You have to put in consistency, you have to put in intentionality. It's not something you just stumble upon. Because trust me, wealth just stumbled upon. It's the same way you
there's part of the Bible that says money has wings.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
It's the same way you lose it. And now, back to the original question, quoting scriptures now, it says the gift of the Lord added rich and maketh no sorrow. So I'm paraphrasing every tangible word for it. So you do not know the stories behind this fraudulent lifestyles. I'm focusing on fraud now. Okay, just come online, you see this young boy who he claims to be, for instance, into forex. But we all know, that's just an instance, right? We all know it's not really forex. There's something behind the scenes that he's doing. And you don't know the pain he's going through. Do you understand? Nobody is telling you of how that his passport has been bad. Nobody is telling you of the frozen accounts. Nobody is telling you of how he has to look over his shoulder. Security is so underrated.
Yes, it is.
Right? I'm very, very free. I can literally wake up right now, pick up my phone, walk on the street without having any issue. But these guys have to always, there's that fear. Believe it or not, there's always that fear. Yes,
conscious of the unknown.
They claim they get to settle 1 or 2 persons, but really, how true is that? Then also, if you're one who is looking to last for a very long time, you need to check, would this thing affect me in the long run? What would this say back on my name? What would this say back on my family? What's it going to? You need to know the consequence of all of these things. Weigh your options. Don't just look at the bright side. What about the disadvantages? Sometimes you get picked up, you get locked up. Yes. You even get yourself killed. Do you understand? Sometimes they get killed in all of these activities. So is it really worth it? Yes, you get to see the money, but is it really worth it? Why not be patient and build real wealth over time? Okay, so you suggest that they weigh their options and weigh the options. Understand the consequences of the options that you go for. Thank you very much. That's a good one. So I have this question I'd like to ask. I'm not too much of a digital person, but I know that in recent times digital skills have been paying the youths well. So which demand digital skill do you think one can learn with little or no capital? Okay, with little or no capital, what can you really do? I would say you go for copywriting, you go for content creation, graphics design. I'm not even trying to sound cliche because you really cannot major on them, but there are things you can just add to whatever you're doing to, get something substantial at the end of the day, right? And these are skills you can do. Take for instance graphics design. Okay. If not for the what I would call see finish factor. Okay. Right? Over familiarity, right? You would always know someone that knows someone. So why wouldn't you let go of your pride and make this person hey bro, can you put me on, let me learn this thing? And you'd be amazed that the person will put you on gladly because it doesn't cost that much. You need nothing more than your mobile phone. I mean, now out of 10 youths, you have 6 using iOS devices,
Yes.
complicated iOS devices. So what are we talking about? Your phone is good enough to do that for you.
Okay.
So all of that, I think that's it basically.
So
I don't want to stretch
apart
it.
from the digital skill, how other ways do you think youths can learn legally? How other ways?
You can do trading, buying and selling, the most traditional method of making money.
Okay.
And what do you buy? What do you sell? Go for life essentials, things that people cannot do without. What can people do without?
Okay.
Food, clothing, shelter, logistics. People must move about.
Yes.
Be as it's made.
Yes.
People must eat. Be as it's made. People must wear clothes. Be as it's made. Do you understand? So all of those things, you being creative around those ideas, I believe you can get something
Very legally
for yourself.
Definitely.
Right.
Definitely. So, this being said, all of these businesses, like we said previously, needs patience to grow.
Yeah.
And as you step up in life, your expenses increases as well. Now as youths, we get to, live on our own. We don't get to live with our parents. We finance our lifestyle anymore. Finance it by ourselves. So there is, what would I call this, increase in your expenses.
Yeah.
And of course, you have to grow financially to meet up with those expenses. So my question now is that how do we stay morally grounded during these times of patience and growth as youths, especially as youths?
How do we stay
I think the older generation have mastered this art of patience.
Okay.
How do we stay morally grounded during this time of patience that we don't get to go into fraud, cyber crimes, or ritual killings, or anything that are punishable all in the name of making money?
Yeah. Well, I think we already had a similar question earlier, and it's almost going to be the same response that I'm going to give, right? So basically, it takes the grace of God now.
Yeah.
If I'm being very honest with you, it takes the grace of God because there are too many distractions. We get to put ourselves under pressure unnecessarily with the advent of social media. You go online, you see a whole lot. Someone you're way older than pulls up in a GLE and you don't even have a bicycle. He's using the latest iPhone 17 Pro Max and you're still managing your Techno Pop 2. No offense to those Techno Pop 2s, are an amazing phone, by the way. Do you understand? So all of that can put you in spaces you didn't imagine you can be. But what do I have to say as regards that? Know where you're coming from and know where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
How sustainable is this life you're trying to go into? Is it something you can build a family upon? Like, with confidence, you can come up on the streets. I mean, Tony Lumelutsi can come up boldly anywhere and say, oh, this is who I am. I'm a business entrepreneur.
No one
questions. But you as a fraudster, can you come up to say, oh, I'm a fraudster, I have 3 kids and a wife.
It's not a thing of pride.
It's not a thing of pride. You still be hiding.
Yes.
So is that the kind of life you want to live? It's something to think about. Also, I just lost my train of thoughts with that. But basically, you know where you're going, you know where you're coming from. Then try to cut down on social media, all of this pressure, right? Then your environment, your environment matters a lot. You're trying to stay away from crime and you're living amongst fraudsters. You're not doing yourself anyhow. You're in a house where 2 guys and both of them are active online, and you say you don't want to do it. It's just a matter of time. You would find yourself doing it. So putting in place all of these checks and balances, surround yourself with people who can help you, legitimate people. Do you understand? Legitimate business persons or people who work 9 to 5 and combine with it. And you'd be amazed at how you'd pick up those habits from them, cut down the social media thing, and we'll still fall back on God to help us as well.
It's just the ultimate.
Yeah.
Okay, so from what we've said previously on today's episode of Adjoa.com, in summary, we should learn that nothing good comes easy. You should be willing to work hard, stay patient, be consistent with whatever you do, depend on God, upgrade your skills, and learn more digital skills here and there to be able to balance your income and as well to be able to, live in today's present economy. So this is what we have for today's episode of Adjoa.com. I hope you enjoyed the show and I hope you were able to pick 1 or 2 things on how to survive in today's economy without engaging in fraud, cybercrime, or ritual killing. Thank you so much for joining us on today's episode of Adjoa.com. I remain Ronke and Emmanuel. With me is
Emmanuel and Emmanuel. Thank you.
Thank you very much.